Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started with the meeting this morning. We have a jam-packed agenda, but it will be a fun agenda. So Carl is away this morning, and so I am the assistant Carl today. And my name is Mike. I'm the vice chair. So we'll get started. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to one of the most activist club. Oh, can you hear me? Maybe there's. Okay, is this better? I don't have that kind of control over this machine. But can you hear me okay? All right, I'll talk like this. So good morning. Welcome to the Royal Oak Area Democratic Club, one of the most activist clubs in Southeast Michigan. And thanks to you and all your efforts. Okay, so we're going to begin. So thank you for coming today. I'm going to introduce the officers. Carl, who's the chair, he's away this morning and on urgent business. But we also have Deb, our treasurer, right over there in the back corner. And then we have Lisa right there, our secretary, right in the middle. And then I'm the vice chair, Mike James. I'm the junior Carl today. So Carl, not that one. I don't like their burgers.
Poisoning when this is over.
No, don't go to Carl Jr.'s, but Junior Carl is okay. Okay, so the breakout question this morning, we're gonna break you out into 4 groups, which I'll do right in a moment. I'll ask you a question. You'll have about 3 minutes to discuss the question, and then we'll have somebody in each group stand up and kind of give the group's consensus on the question. Okay, so this is a little interactive. So the first 3 rows here, first 4 rows here will be one group, and the first 4 rows there will be group 2. Group 3 is everybody else in back, and group 4 is row 5 and back. Do your best, but if you can kind of get together and discuss the topic. So the topic is, what politician, past or present, do you feel most shares your values and why? So I give you 3 minutes to discuss.
We're rearranging already. That's, that's what was my original. Right. Nobody. Yeah.
I think it's like yes, different from me was always like practicing and not divisive.
It's totally so much like doing the bullshit tweets something about like he's inaugural he's like a rip so people
I would like not.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I don't continue that office, but I'm just saying that that's
Every guy in the Israel.
Yes, that's
Twice as mine. Twice as mine. Really, they put it all. I was there.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion groups. We've come to the end of our time. So if you can kind of pick a spokesperson to kind of bring together your idea, we'll go from there. So I'm going to start with number 2 because it looks like they're ready. So everybody, we got our first team over here. You're going to give us our quick, go ahead. Mike.
Oh, you want the mic?
Come on up to the mic.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Margaret Brown. I'm team number 2. We selected Bernie Sanders. I don't think he had a huge, much bigger. He appeals to the young people. He has never wavered on his thought of having medical care for everyone in this country, regardless of their status. He would like to see us have a minimum wage raised so that there is a quality standard of living for everyone. Did I miss anything, everyone? Oh, and he has the vigor to run, and he actually enjoys politics, the game of politics, the give and take. And he's been out there campaigning at rallies and getting people to listen to what he has to say. Did I miss anything, friends? Okay.
Thank you so much. Now, group number 1, do you have a spokesperson who can hit the microphone here?
Brandon.
Tell us who and why. Thanks, Brandon.
What's this on? So we had a couple different people that we talked about. Gavin Newsom came up. I said FDR. I think, I don't know if I have to sell FDR. I mean, he was the New Deal president, right? Helped us get out of the Great Depression. And he kind of led the progressive era, which I think we need another one of those to get rid of this modern Gilded Age that we're living in. But anyways, I think that's just a recap of what we talked about.
We need a modern FDR.
Thanks, Brandon. Much appreciated. So we're going to go over there. And who's the spokesperson? Come on up to the mic. Tell us who and why.
We also had, we didn't really come to a consensus because there were a lot that we had like specific elements from, especially with like Social Security and then also having Medicare and people who contributed to SNAP, so a lot of different programs. So, sorry. We had FDR, we had Johnson, we had Eric Newsom, and then we also had people like Jasmine Crockett, local people like Garland, and then we also had a few others that definitely contributed, especially to local programs. So those were.
Thank you very much. So, number 4, group 4, who's the spokesperson? I got a mic for you. It's on.
Hey, how about those Lions? Yeah, okay. So our group was diverse and eclectic. Jimmy Carter, Obama, FDR, Abraham Lincoln, and my favorite, Queen Elizabeth I. So we ran the gamut.
Okay. Thank you all groups for your responses. They were all good and interesting and enjoyable. So next part of our packed agenda, we have a candidate for Michigan Secretary of State, Barb Byrum. Could you come up?
Yay.
Woo!
He limited me on time, as every good person should do to a politician. So my name is Barb Byrum. I am running for Secretary of State because Michigan needs a secretary who's ready, willing, and able to defend our democracy and fight like hell to maintain access to the ballot box. Thank you. I'm that candidate. I've been doing that work for the past 13 years as the Ingham County Clerk. I am the chief elections official in my county. I've conducted 42 elections in that capacity, numerous recounts. The first recount I did was when I was a baby clerk. It was in 2016, the Jill Stein presidential recount. That was an experience. So I hired 110 workers, Democrats and Republicans, to serve as assistant canvassers to hand count during the recount, because in Michigan, our recounts are done by hand and they're done by humans. Okay. We took over the main arena of the fairgrounds where I used to show sheep. We hand counted ballots. I have not been to the fair since. So the results didn't change because they don't. Our elections are safe, secure, and accurate. I know they are safe, secure, and accurate because of the numerous checks we have and the numerous individuals we have conducting the election, and our elections are open to the public. So as county clerk, in 2020, President Trump was claiming the elections were rigged before a single ballot was even cast. Do you recall?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great time to be a clerk. In fact, we have 36 less county clerks now than we did back in 2020, because many of the county clerks, they were done. They were done with the attacks. Clerks predominantly are Republicans. Most in Michigan, most of the county clerks are Republicans, and certainly most of the local clerks are Republicans as well. But many of them, local as well as county, decided we're out. So after the 2020 election, there were a lot of election conspiracies that our elections were not accurate. I testified in front of the House and Senate Joint Elections Committee that was doing the investigation of the 2020 election and stood up for the administration of our elections, the accuracy of our elections. I also was very active on social media. Before Twitter was the hellscape that it is today, I was actively pushing back against election myths and disinformation. I continue to do that. Twitter's just not the fun place that it used to be. But I think it's important that we continue to push back against election myths and disinformation, because when people question the integrity of our elections, they are less likely to go vote because they think our elections have already been decided, that they are rigged. It's called voter apathy. It's another form of voter disenfranchisement, right? That's not as obvious as requiring people to prove their citizenship in order to register to vote. So I have been pushing back against election myths and disinformation before it was cool, and certainly when it was not safe or popular. Also, when President Trump was elected this last time around, he signed the executive order, the SAVE Act, which would have required proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. It also would have decertified all election equipment, all of the tabulars, all of the computers in the United States. So I contacted colleagues around the United States, other election officials from around the United States, because I serve on many boards with individuals from around the United States, and asked them to sign on to an amicus brief. So I filed a brief in opposition to the President of the United States.
Yeah.
Because I think it is imperative that we not just fight on social media, in the press, on the streets, but also in the courts. But we can't just fight in the courts, because the Republicans will control that message and have. When they say we've had to sue the Secretary of State, we've had to sue the Secretary of State, people are hearing that and they're assuming the Secretary of State did something wrong. She did not. She refused to hand over your date of birth, your driver's license number, your state ID number. That's what she did right. In Michigan, election voter rolls are public parts of them are public. In some states, none of them are public. In some states, all of it is public. But in Michigan, some of the voter data is public. That's what she released, the public data. So what she did release was your name, your address, if you are, how you voted, not how you voted, but the method in which you voted. Did you vote by early? Did you vote by AV? Or did you vote on election day? That's what she released. What the department or Dodge wants is the last four of your social. They want your date of birth. They want your Michigan driver's license number. They want your Michigan ID number as well. That's what they want, and that's what they're suing for. And that, but we have to fight immediately. We cannot wait for the courts to rule because they take a while. And by then, the Republicans are already controlling the message. So I am a bit of a troublemaker. Good trouble, friends. I am a troublemaker. So when, as county clerk, one of the cool things I get to do is perform marriage ceremonies. I also keep all vital records, birth, marriage, death certificates on file in my office. So when marriage equality was making its way through the courts and a federal district court ruled in favor of marriage equality after 5 p.m. on a Friday, you best believe I opened up my office at 8 a.m. Saturday morning and I performed the first same-sex marriage in the state of Michigan. I issued 56 marriage licenses that day. I processed 1 birth certificate request and 1 concealed pistol license application because we were open. We were open. So, and I wasn't treating anybody differently. So prior to being county clerk, I served in the Michigan House of Representatives. So I served 6 years in the Michigan House. My first 2 terms were amazing. We were a majority. We were able to focus on consumer protection and helping people and holding auto insurance companies accountable when they knowingly, wrongfully delayed or denied insurance claims. My last term, we were in the minority. That was not as rewarding, but still I was able to be a hemorrhoid to the Republicans. So when an omnibus abortion ban was making its way through the legislature, I offered an amendment to regulate vasectomies because it is only fair. And a colleague of mine said vagina during final passage, and we were silenced on the House floor. But the Republicans didn't have the guts to tell us that day. But the next day, when I wanted to recognize some guests in the balcony, they wouldn't turn my little microphone on. The little light wouldn't come on. I thought, well, maybe they're having technical difficulties. I'll go to a different microphone. I go to a different microphone. And they wouldn't turn the little light on. So I was thinking, well, maybe they're just trying to figure out how to sock it to the working people again. I'll give them 5 minutes, get their plan together. I'll try again. And then the Republican floor leader came to me and he said, Barb, we're not going to let you speak today. And I thought, that's the first time in my life that anyone ever thought it was a good idea to tell me to sit down and shut up. But here we were, and I fired off a tweet real quick on Twitter. It became a national story within 24 hours. People were calling me from all around the United States, wanting to send me money. It wasn't about me. So I opened up a PAC, a political action committee, and I had people send their contributions to the PAC. And it was called More Women in Government, because that's what we need, more women in government. So I used those funds to support pro-choice Democratic women who were running for school board, city council, state rep, and Senate. A week after I was silenced on the House floor, a few of us performed vagina monologues on the Capitol steps. Were you there, Mary? Yeah, you were there. Thank you. So I didn't know what vagina monologues was at the time, but I did know to ask for a G-rated version. And I performed with now Governor Whitmer and now Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Like, there were a lot of us that were performing. Also during that time, Governor Snyder passed right to work for less. And I took issue with that because I am the granddaughter of a shop teacher that organized our local school district for MEA. And because of MEA, thank you. And because of his union, he was able to afford to send my dad, or my grandma and grandpa were able to afford to send my dad and his 2 brothers to the Michigan State University. Right. And because her high school sweetheart went to Michigan State University, my mom went to Michigan State University. And because my parents went to Michigan State University, I went to Michigan State University. So I am the daughter-in-law of a retired Teamster school bus driver. I am the sister of a UAW GM worker. I am the sister-in-law of an MEA teacher, and I am the wife of an organized police officer. So my union roots run deep, and I took major issue with Governor Snyder and right to work for less. So that was my time in the legislature. I served as a ranking Dem on redistricting and elections. This was in the olden days when the legislature used to choose their voters and draw their district lines. It was disgusting the way they gerrymandered the hell out of our state. They divided communities of interest. And that's why I am so thankful that we all got together and we got petition signatures and we got questions on the ballot to amend our Constitution. And we amended our Constitution many times. So now we have the Citizens Redistricting Commission. We have no reason absentee voting. We have 9 days of early voting. We have same-day voter registration. We have postage prepaid. We have drop boxes. We have all of these things, not because of the Secretary of State, not because of the legislature, because we've been asking them for that for a long time, not because of one person, but because we did that work. We did that. We got those signatures. We circulated those petitions. We got it on the ballot, and we passed those initiatives overwhelmingly. So well done to us, to all of us. Okay, you're coming close. Got it. So prior to serving in the Michigan, and during my time in the Michigan legislature, I owned and operated a retail hardware store. For 20 years, I owned a hardware store. I was raised in the hardware business, and then when I graduated from the Michigan State University, I went to work for Tractor Supply Company. Wasn't a fan of that corporation. Left and refinanced my house and bought a hardware store, and owned and operated that for 20 years. I then sold it to my mother, so I may own it again someday. But I also have my law degree from Michigan State University as well. So I am the only candidate that has actually run elections, 42. I'm the only candidate that is a state certified election administrator, have been for 13 years. I'm the only candidate that is a nationally certified election registrar, and I'm the only candidate who has run tough elections and has won time and time again. So I've been on the ballot. Every time my name appears on the ballot, I win because I will not be outworked. I am a scrapper, in case you can't tell. And I know election administration, but I also know politics, and I work hard, and I am a fighter. So you are getting closer. So now I'm opening it up for questions, right, Mike? Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much. Yeah.
Speaking of citizen-led initiatives, citizen-led pro-democracy initiatives.
Yeah.
How do you feel about ranked choice voting?
Ranked choice voting. So, so that we are totally clear, if Rank My Vote gets the signatures, gets on the ballot and passes, clerks will do what we always do, and that is implement it as seamless as possible for voters. Personally, I am opposed. And the reason I am opposed is because I see the costs and I see the time of unofficial results. So the costs. I program in-house. Not all county clerks program their elections in-house. I do. I have control issues, and I am very fiscally responsible. So I program my elections in-house. If I have a regular election and a ranked choice election, I'm going to have to contract for programming. There's not enough time. There's not enough time to program as it is, and then to add another program I'm going to have to contract out. So that's going to increase my costs. Also, it will likely take my ballot, which is a front back, to probably a front back, maybe another front. So from a 1-page ballot to potentially a 3-page ballot. So that's printing and paper costs. And then when polls close, I worry because we're not going to have unofficial results until a week out, because we still have to wait for cured ballots, the signature cures for those AVs that the clerk saw a mismatch, but also our military and overseas voters. So that's going to be an additional week before unofficial results are available. And I know the longer it takes for unofficial results to be available, the more election conspiracies start to grow and fester. And the way we audit in Michigan, we hand audit. That's humans counting the paper ballots, right? And humans aren't going to be able to process that ranked choice formula. So I'm worried about that. And then audit. Sorry, that was recounts. But then audits. So we all passed a requirement in our Constitution for audits. For audits, it's again humans counting votes. And the audit numbers aren't going to match. And so that's going to feed into more elections.
The meeting.
Yeah, it's working out.
Clerks will do what clerks do. We will implement it as seamless as possible for voters.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're not getting any closer. So Michigan elections are some of the safest and most secure elections in the United States. We have an open, transparent process. We have 83 county clerks that program the election. Most of them are Republicans, right? And they take that programming, they send it to the local clerk, those city and township clerks. There are 1,500 of them, the most Republicans. They have a public meeting to test the programming. Any way a ballot can be voted, they test to make sure it's being tabulated properly. That programming is locked up until early voting, election day voting, or absentee counting board processing. And Democrats and Republicans work together to assist voters, to process absentee ballots, to do all of those things. They run the zeros tapes in the beginning of election day, and they run the totals tapes when polls close, right? And it is Republicans and Democrats that are doing all of that work. When polls close, when all of the absentee ballots are tabulated, the memory cards are brought to me at the county level. They are physically brought to me at the county level because our elections are not connected to the internet. So those memory cards are taken out of the tabulator. The tabulator is the thing that you feed your ballot through. You with me all? Okay. So those memory cards are taken to me. I put them in my election computer that, again, is not connected to the internet, and I will download those reports. Periodically throughout the night, I will take a thumb drive and get unofficial results. And I'll take that thumb drive and I will put it in my county computer that is absolutely connected to the internet. And I will post PDF results, unofficial PDF results. I'll do that periodically throughout the night until all 100% precincts have reported with a new thumb drive every time because germs and cross-contamination. I don't want that. Yeah. Once all 100% have been reported, I will hopefully get a couple hours of sleep. Then the Board of Canvassers will meet. Every county has a Board of Canvassers. All 83 counties have a Board of Canvassers. Are you one of them? Or are you telling me I gotta stop? Okay, sorry. So 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans are the Board of Canvassers. They will go through all of the elections to make sure for every ballot cast, there was a voter that voted, right? They have the authority to bring in precinct workers, clerks to explain any discrepancies. They also have the ability to retabulate precincts. Then they will certify the results. He's getting closer. Our elections are safe and secure. There's still a time for recounts and audits. So my name is Barb Byrum. This is a convention nomination. So in order to vote at the convention, you have to be a party member, Michigan Democratic Party member, 30 days prior to the convention. And you have to physically be at the convention to vote. So I have these little commitment cards. They're back there. They have a QR code if you want to save paper because I am a frugal campaigner. I don't spend money on stuff. I would love your support. I ask for your support. If you ever have any questions for me, you can contact me on any social media channel. I don't have handlers, so you'll get a response from me. It'll likely be at 2 o'clock in the morning because sleep is overrated. So thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it. I'm sorry.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you so much. So again, that was candidate for Michigan of Secretary of State, Barb Byrum. And then we are now moving on to our next speaker. Can you hear me in the back? Okay, good. Rachel Andrews, could you come up and join us? And we want to hear about some work that she's been doing over the last few years. I'm really bad at jokes. So I was told to tell you a joke, and I'm drawing a blank, but in a moment. Hang on, let's get this.
Yeah.
A little IT work.
We'll sing soft music. All right. That might be too early for karaoke.
I have a question for all. Have any of you worked the elections?
On should be on. Let me try to.
Because you know, she was talking about how things are tabulated in this state. Good.
Oh, that works. Blinking.
There it is. Apparently it's a 2-step one, but.
Yeah. that's right. She writes about how they
So how's school board doing?
I think on would be an easy command.
We do like
You're all hooked. This is fine. It's the television. that's not. It's the only.
Yeah, well, it must be.
But yeah. Can it? You're fine. Okay. All right, let's do this.
He wants to make sure it was covered.
I'm pushing this. Yeah, I'm pushing that. Sometimes it. Go ask their front desk. Yeah, could you have the front desk see if they can help? William, I think we're set.
Well.
There we go.
There we go. All
Yep.
right. You're on.
Good morning. I haven't seen you guys in a while. My Saturdays have been really, really busy. If you do not know me, my name is Rachel Andrews. I am an active member, or have been an active member in this club, been secretary, been many things. But right now I am the chair of the Human Rights Commission here in Royal Oak. If you don't know the history, and a lot of you do, the Human Rights Commission was established by the City Commission in 2022 and first seated in 2023. We spent a year kind of getting our feet underneath us, and in early 2024, we had a meeting with a facilitator to sort of work out what we wanted to accomplish in the short term. And we decided as a group that we had ideas about what needed to happen in Royal Oak, but that we didn't want to foist our opinions on the entire community without knowing what people thought. So that's what led to this survey. Before I get into these results, though, I would like to introduce you to two other members of our commission who have come today. If you guys would please stand. This is Rob Seidlinger, and that is Dia. Dia is one of our two high school students. We have two high school students on our commission. And I am not lying. Dia is a rock star. She has so many ideas and so many opinions, is not afraid to talk, and is unfortunately leaving us in January to study abroad. So whatever, right? But she will rejoin us. And you're a junior now? She's a junior at Roper. So, all right, you guys can sit. All right. I ran over that already, so we'll go right into this. Before we get into the real details about this, I want to say that we are very cautious in how we are taking the results of this survey. We understand that some of our groups were very small and that we have to be very careful about how we're interpreting what we got. So, but we do see this as an excellent guide to guide us into what we need to do over the next 3 to 5 years. That's how we've been using this information. So our goal is to understand how inclusive and welcoming Royal Oak feels to all, to identify where residents, workers, and visitors experience barriers, to guide future HRC actions and partnerships. And we had over 500 people respond. This is amazing. And before I even get into that, we made a challenge to ourselves when we first started writing this survey that we could not just survey residents. We had to survey non-residents, workers in Royal Oak, visitors to Royal Oak, business owners in Royal Oak. All of those people had to be asked and talked to, because we are a destination city. The diversity that happens in this city happens through the visitors. It does not happen through the residents. So this was the biggest complication, I would say. to this process. If you look here at the bottom, it says 77% were Royal Oak residents, 16% were visitors, and 11% are employees. And I will tell you, for me, I'm extremely proud of that. We worked really hard to get the non-residents to participate. The demographics show a strong response from working age adults, women at 65%, LGBTQIA individuals at 17%. Seniors of color were noticeably absent or underrepresented. But this all highlights, again, our ability to move forward and make plans. So here's some more details. 81% of respondents identified as white, and 7.7 respondents identify as Black or African American. If you consider the fact that Royal Oak is 93% white, that's actually a really good number for us. So 66.3 were female, 29.3 male, 74.3 identified as heterosexual, and 17.2 identifies LGBTQIA. 8.6 reported living with a disability. Most people who responded say they feel included in Royal Oak. 80% of all respondents said that they saw Royal Oak as very or somewhat inclusive. But not all groups feel the same way. 40% of Black respondents rated Royal Oak as neutral. 29% of Black respondents said it was very inclusive. So I feel like that's a very, very important number for us to think about, and that's one that we're kind of hanging on to. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I skipped that one. You guys are our first presentation, and I'm happy it's a friendly space. All right, safety is high in Royal Oak, but again, not equally felt. 93% of respondents reported that they feel always or mostly safe. 28% of Black women reported feeling always safe. And 69% of men age 65 and over reported always feeling safe. So there's a huge discrepancy there. Again, we had a very small sample of African American women who responded, but we see that number as alarming enough that we're going to keep this as a focus of our conversations over the next few years, just so we can get more information. So. Backwards shuffle. Discrimination exists in subtle but important ways. 78% of respondents have never witnessed or experienced discrimination. 53% of business owners and 59% of employees have not witnessed or experienced discrimination. You've got to reverse those numbers then, right? 47% business owners have witnessed discrimination, right? Business owners were actually a very interesting part of this survey. They admitted that they don't have formal training for their employees about anything related to DEI, right? They have not written policies to prevent discrimination. They did express, 30% of business owners expressed interest in learning more about what the HRC could offer, but they also admitted that they had very little bandwidth to do any of the big work. So we also see this group as a very important group that we hope to work with and see how the city of Royal Oak can help business owners improve their policies and get training. Um, 48% of visitors come to Royal Oak 2 to 3 times a month, primarily for dining or religious services. 76 rated the city as very inclusive or somewhat inclusive. This is interesting though, right? 50% say they always feel safe. 45% say they feel mostly safe. I would hope that we as a city would want everybody to always feel safe. And I feel that there's groups of us that do always feel safe, right? That we have to look into who those people are who don't, especially among the visitors. Our key takeaways are, we have a very strong sense of inclusion overall in the city of Royal Oak, but there are gaps within the racial makeup of our city. Most people feel safe, but women of color report lower safety. Discrimination is less visible, but not absent. Businesses value inclusion, but lack formal policies and training. And visitors are diverse and mostly positive, but there's opportunities there for us to improve. So. The next steps now that we are going to be taking is that we are planning in the coming year to do some focus groups with groups that we feel we have questions about, like the African American women. We want to talk to, because we had very few respondents from the high school ages up, the young adults and high school students, and we want to have focus groups to see if we can get more information from those groups. And there's a third one that just left my mind. Who is our third? Seniors. That was my senior moment, right? We want to have focus groups with seniors because we know they have very specific issues and needs. And this survey didn't give them the opportunity to express all of that to us. And we're going to start those in the spring. So if you have questions beyond this, we do have an email address. And if you go on the city webpage and search for Human Rights Commission, we have a webpage. All of the results, the full results of this survey are on that webpage. So if you want to go through all of the numbers, all the statistics, they are there to look at. Again, I will say it over and over again. We take these findings cautiously, and we're using them only as a guide to lead to further conversations. We don't see it necessarily as full science. So, do you have any questions? Anybody?
I'm going to ask you about how long has the group been together? Years.
Okay.
Months. How long?
We started in January 2023.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Did you do any special outreach on accessibility? People that need, automatic self-propelled wheelchairs where they would drop off people with wheelchairs, things like that. Did you look at that?
You mean in the survey or for people to complete the survey? Yes, yes, we did. That is a very important issue to our group. We also worked hard to make the survey accessible to people who weren't necessarily technically savvy or had disabilities that limited their abilities. And yeah, that's very much in our front. Yes, ma'am.
I know like a month or so ago, there was a problem at the high school with the Charlie Kirk thing, I think was part of it. And I'm just wondering if your group did anything to find out how the kids at that school felt safe or unsafe because of the events of that day.
The tricky thing with the schools, I hope I'm saying this right, is that the city of Royal Oak does not manage the schools. The schools are their own entity. So I did have a conversation, a very lengthy conversation with one of the members of the school board after that happened. But we do want to have conversations with the high school students, and I think that's going to be big on the list. It's very much in our line of sight, right? But we don't have any power on that. So.
Did you have any specific results on our trans population, as opposed to the whole
alphabet?
The whole alphabet group, but the trans population specifically?
We did not ask any questions specific to the trans community. Yes.
So those numbers about the African American women and their safety and feeling safe. Do we have any statistics that bore out? I mean, criminal statistics, if they're being targeted or anything like that, or is this? I mean, for me, that was kind of a shocking number. Is there something that we can do from a public safety standpoint to make them feel more safe?
I think that's probably a really good point and something we should look into, and Rob should be taking a note about it. Yeah, that's really the point of our focus groups, that we can. Do they feel like they're being protected?
Like similar cities that are they getting similar results from that that constituency, or
right?
Or is this specific to Royal Oak?
That is our smallest group. Like, it's alarming as that number feels. We had a very small group of Black women respond. So we can't take it with a grain of salt. We really have to acknowledge that number. But that's the reason we have to have further conversations about it.
Last question.
Last question.
Just want to make all cities have a human rights.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Pretty special here, and not all cities, the Human Rights Commission did a survey like this, so that kind of data makes it hard to compare.
Yeah.
It's great. It was great that they did.
Yeah, thrilled.
Anything else?
One more question?
You have one?
No, just one more question.
Yeah, does anybody have one more?
If anybody has.
Before I go, I want to really express my thanks to all of you. I know a lot of you filled out the survey for us. You've been very supportive of this group since we began. You were very supportive of this group before it began. and I really appreciate that this is the first place we're giving this presentation, because you are our friends. So thank you very much.
Thank you again. Ooh. Thank you again, Rachel. That was a wonderful report. I'm glad to see we're making progress and understanding the problem where it exists. Let's go on to the treasurer's report. Deb, are you ready? Huh? Did you want it? Or I will if you don't. Okay.
Couple things. Our basic business, our savings account is $5,864 and some cents. Our intern fund is $120, and Royal Oak Rising has.
Deb, could you be louder? Hold the mic closer to your mouth.
Wow. Royal Oak Rising has $111. So start again now. Our whole savings are $5,864. Our intern fund finances our internship program that happens during the summer. And that's how we got young people involved and stuff like that. When you pay your dues, which are actually $15, $5 of that goes to that internship fund. If you happen to give us an extra $5, that's okay too, we'll take it. Otherwise, I have t-shirts for sale in the back, small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL are available there. You can pay by cash or by charge. And 2026 dues are available. If you pay this month, that will count for next year. And you can pay either in cash today or whenever at the meeting, or you can go online at roadc.com and pay there by charge. I have petitions on the back table in case anyone has not signed the petitions for Invest in Michigan Kids, which will raise taxes on the very wealthy, an extra 5%, and put it in the fund just for school kids. And the other one is to get money out of politics by preventing corporations like DTE from donating to political campaigns. That, I think, will help them get better regulated. Anyway, we only have till February to get like 700,000 signatures, and I don't know if we're going to make it, but we'd like to try. Otherwise, we got to do it all again. Won't that be fun, William? These signs up here, we've been having our weekly protest at 11 Mile and Main Street, and it got to be kind of cold and kind of dark. So we went ahead and made these signs, which are the signs of fascism. And we're going to have a time, probably every week or two, where we will invite a whole bunch of people, like 10 at least, to hold each of the signs, to stand along, probably along Woodward. We have to be in a public space, like along St. John's Episcopal Church or further up the road. There's some spaces there where we won't be interfering with businesses, to just hold one sign after another and protest what we feel is going on in our country. So, questions? Natalie?
Yes, thank you so much for getting signatures on those ballot initiatives. We know how incredibly important both Invest in My Kids and Mop Up Michigan are. I was wondering if I wanted to take a sheet of petitions to my book club or to my church tomorrow, how can I do that to help you get signatures?
That is what I forgot to say. Once you take a sheet home for the holidays or for anything, to just go to your neighbors, go to your family, your friends, and ask them to sign. I will be happy to give you a sheet. I don't have them with me here today, but I'll take a list. I will get it to you with instructions, and you can get it back to me, or I will pick it up when you're done. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you very much, Deb. I just want to reiterate one thing. This month, you need to pay your dues for next year. We have elections in January, so please update your membership sometime this month. Online is easy, so always available on our website. Next thing is we have precinct delegate report with William. William's going to pass. We're not going to do an update. We'll do one next year. Thank you, William. And Royal Oak Youth Rising, we have the topic, maybe a couple minutes from Eric or Charlie. Who wants to come up, or we got the whole gang? So you guys about a minute or so.
Yeah,
Thank you.
March 21st.
All right. Hi, everyone. Eric Harrison here. We got Matt and Charlie. On March 21st, we're going to do a signature youth event. It's going to be a youth summit. The goal is to get a lot of motivated youth there, and we are going to do some networking, do some learning, and do some planning for the future. And the goal is to get the youth involved in both the Royal Oak Dems, the Oakland County, and then Royal Oak Rising as well. Anything to add on some of the ideas?
I mean, right now, we have a follow-up meeting next week to try to get a more scheduled plan in terms of what we want to go over in terms of the kind of a proposal agenda. Young people, please come talk to us so we can get your input, because we are old. We need your help.
He's one of the youngest ones here.
Yeah,
right. So we had a planning meeting in October with the Royal Oak High School team and the Royal Oak Rising team plus this team. And one of the ideas that emerged was, hey, let's do a summit and let's try to attract young people so we can get together. And this is a very important initiative with the Oakland County Dems. What our action item for you is, if you have a young person in your orbit, in your network, please let that person know, March 21st, it's a Saturday, March 21st, it's a Saturday from noon to 4, and we're looking 50 to 100. And if you want to ask age, of course, we prefer people in the 20s. That would sort of be the ideal demographic, but under 40, I think, right? I think that's
Close enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
close enough.
Close enough.
Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Okay, on to the next thing. We have Royal Oak High School Democrats update. Is Owen or Cameron around today? I think they are not. So we'll not get an update this month, but we'll get one on our next meeting. So we have next the elected officials report. We're asking that the elected officials hold it to about 1 minute. And if you're a body and you can pick one speaker, that's great too. So we'll start with the city, or actually start with the state.
1 minute. Sure. Hello, all. Natalie Price. Oh, I'll get on there for Zoom. Natalie Price, state representative for most of Royal Oak, Berkeley, Huntington Woods, little bits of Bloomfield Township, Southfield, Beverly Hills, most of Birmingham. Legislative. We haven't been in session now for going on 4 weeks. We had hunting break, and believe it or not, in Michigan, we do that. We had Thanksgiving. And then Mike Hall, our Timu Trump over in the House, gave us all this past week off so that they could all attend the ALEC conference to strategize what nightmares they're going to be putting in front of us in the next 2 weeks to come. These next 2 weeks, starting this Tuesday, are really important because it's the end of the calendar year. We adjourn officially, even though we don't take a big break, there's an adjournment at the end of the year. And then that matters in terms of this crazy Latin thing we call sine die. So if things don't get done in the next 2 weeks, then if they get done the week after that, it's going to be a lot longer, like maybe a whole year longer until they will go into effect. So as things often work in Lansing, we wait until the very last moment. You guys remember this with the budget, right? Here we are at another like big deadline where it matters whether or not we get things done. So I am anticipating / with all the negative connotations of anticipating some bigger controversial things. A good thing, I hope, will be a supplemental budget. I've talked to you about what was missing in the last budget that we got done, including the autism navigator, which seems like an oversight. It was relatively little amount of money that helped so many families in so many fundamental important ways. We have constitutional revenue sharing for our cities that kind of got messed up that we need to fix. We need to make sure that our cities are getting the long-term ongoing funding that they need. And then for those of you involved in school boards and paying attention to the schools, there was some horrible nonsense of attaching a big chunk of that per pupil funding to a requirement that the schools give up legal rights. So we got there are some things with the last budget that got missed in our whole 1 hour that we had to review it before were forced to vote on it. No surprise. I'll blame Matt Hall, by the way, for this because he just ignored kind of the transparent democratic process of the budget. But now we have all been calling on him and the governor and the Senate to fix some of these things that got overlooked, that got missed, that are really fundamental to things that we need. So I am hoping that we will see a supplemental budget in the next few weeks that will work to fixing some of those things. And I've been advocating strongly for them. The other things I'm anticipating are some economic development. We talk about SOAR. We talk about giving incentives to huge corporations to come to Michigan. And that's why I'm worried about the negative implications of some of that. I am not going to be voting And this will bring me to my next point with data centers I'd like to talk about for a moment. This is a great example. I have been a no vote on the bills that have been come in front of us that give these incentives to bring big data centers to Michigan and tax relief for it, right? So these data centers, they need to come to Michigan. They need a ton of fresh water to cool their systems to operate. And we have it more than anyone else in the world. And the idea that we would be giving them incentives, we'd be paying them to come, or we'd be, preparing the sites for them to come to. And then on top of that, leaving room for them to race to the bottom with the local municipality so that they don't have to pay property taxes on those areas. There's also the fact, and I think this has been in the news a bit this week, that when data centers come, a consequence, a symptom is you see the rates, the utility rates, the electric rates in those areas rising dramatically. And unless we have a clear agreement that we can enforce for data centers to pay for the increased cost to the grids, all of that falls onto the ratepayers. But here's the deal. I also have last week signed a letter to require or to urge the Michigan Public Services Commission. They are the ones that set the rates of the utility companies, that determine kind of the regulations. Rates, by the way, I mean, rates and taxes aren't so much different, right? Like, we all pay taxes. We all pay rates. We don't get to negotiate and decide whether we're using DTE or consumers. In this part of the state, we are using DTE, right? It's the only option. So who negotiates those rates? Well, there's some state oversight there, the Michigan Public Services Commission. And you may have seen this in the news with the Saline Data Center, right? They were fully prepared to rush that through the process without public comment, without transparency, without giving people a voice to say that they want this to come and that they're not concerned, because DTE has generously addressed all of their concerns already, which, by the way, that was a call that I got saying, why would you demand that people ask more questions? DTE has already provided all the answers. Oh, wow. That's quite a way to think about democracy. But I am proud of urging them to engage in the process. Just that urging was a big threat to some big powers who want to rush this through. And it makes, I'm going over my minute. But I think my loophole that I'm going to try to get out of it with being a politician is that's kind of my legislative update. I'm worried about us seeing economic development money being negotiated and being put before us for a vote, so that, and by us, I will not be voting for it, but that we as the bodies would be saying that we're going to be giving a lot of money to big corporations to come to Michigan. There's a third thing. What else am I worried about this week? I feel like there was another really, okay. It's a little more complicated. It's going to go more than a minute, but I can take questions, and I'll just let you know, like, pay attention to what we're doing next week, and especially the following week, right before we adjourn before the end of the year. This is the last minute when nonsense happens, and I will be doing everything that I can to oppose it in meaningful ways and to call it out, to do my direct to cameras from the floor. Again, this is my legislative, right, social media to watch. And as I see things happening, both in messaging and in meaningful action that I'm afraid is being taking place, I will do what I can to call it out so that my constituents, so that everyone in Michigan knows. And I've got great colleagues who do the same. So things move fast, and unfortunately the news doesn't cover all of it, but I'll be there, I'll be paying attention, I'll be doing the work. So I'll keep you updated as I can over the next 2 weeks. I wish I could tell you exactly what we'll be voting for, but it's hard to know. There is one thing I'm really hopeful that we will get an opportunity to vote for. If any of you are following the unemployment clawbacks after COVID, I'm looking to see if anybody's nodding or they're familiar with this. Okay, well, I won't get it too into it because it would take me probably 5 minutes to just explain what it is. But that, if I see that on the agenda for next week, I will be thrilled to vote yes on a fix for that really challenging situation where we have people who were given unemployment during COVID because they couldn't be actively employed and making their wages. One of my good friends was a bartender during COVID, and all of a sudden he couldn't do his work. He couldn't bring in those wages. And that he was told that that money was his to keep. And then they said, oh no, we're going to take that back. That Michigan made a mistake in how it was reported. And as a result, there were going to be federal clawbacks from that money. And this is something that we can fix by clarifying some things at the state level so that all of these hundreds of thousands of people who are being told right now, you have to pay back that $40,000 that you were given in unemployment that year, aren't on the hook for it right now with a timeline. So I'm hoping for that fix, good and bad. I'll do what I can to keep you updated over the next few weeks. Okay, and then campaign, I'll do it while I'm up here. I am running for state senate, and this is where I want to transition to talk a little bit about the campaign side of this. I will be proudly talking about how I've taken a pledge to not accept any utility money, to not accept insurance money. I want my constituents to know that I am accountable to you and not the big corporations that have been influencing Lansing politics. And when I sign that letter saying I'm calling for open, transparent process, that is a huge threat to these utility companies, to these powers who are also getting involved in major ways because they can. Mop Michigan, money out of politics, this ballot initiative is so important because it would level the playing field. It would make all politicians, the ones who take the pledge and consistently vote against those special corporate interests, on the same level playing field as the politicians who don't, who welcome the money and take action to encourage the money to keep it coming in. Right now, it's not a level playing field. And all candidates who have taken that pledge and made that commitment to not accept corporate interest, corporate money, are at a significant disadvantage to those who do. And for those of you, and I know more than half of you in this room have been in an election or are very involved in the back room of the election, you know that you win an election in doors and dollars, because those are the two ways you get the candidate's name in front of the voters. That's just, if we could have publicly funded elections, we could win elections in more wonderful, fundamental ways, but we don't. So we need the doors, we need the dollars. So let me tell you about the opportunities to be involved in my campaign this month before the end of the year to help me with doors and dollars. And I know I'm saying this while it's really cold out. So I want to tell you about Together Canvas Auto Dialer Phone Time. An auto dialer phone time with my campaign is just like a shift on the doors. It is signing up for a 2-hour block where we are meeting up together at the same time in our pajamas on Zoom, and we use a system of an auto dialer where it's just like going and knocking on the doors without the cold, without the walking, without the knocking, without the waiting, and without the ringing. That's the beauty of an auto dialer. As long as we get 5 people or more all on there at the same time, the more the better, the more efficient the auto dialer works. And what you would be doing if you join me on the auto dialer this month is, and we would train you, you got me and the team on Zoom with a group chat, muted, volume down, but ready to wave and answer questions. And you are there and you are talking to voters. You're saying, let me tell you about my state rep, Natalie Price. She's running for state senate. I'm going to tell you 3 quick things about her. And does she sound like a candidate that you would support? And maybe they'll say, oh yeah, she's my state rep too. I plan on voting for her. Great. You mark it down. You ask them if they want to host a yard sign. You ask if they want to help volunteer. You ask if they want to give money. Easy, easy, easy. This is quick and this is efficient. And if they say, no, I don't vote, okay, we mark that down and then we don't reach out to them again. It really helps quickly generate a lot of information for my campaign. So please, please join us on auto dialers. It's fun, it's efficient, it's a really, really great use of time. And then the other ask is $100. And I know that's a lot this time of year, but my big push right now is to try to get 100 people to donate $100 as a response to the corporations that are putting so much power. And if you're not giving to my campaign, give it to another candidate who has signed the pledge to not take corporate money. If you believe you want candidates who aren't taking corporate money, please step up and support them, because we can't keep doing our jobs. We can't get re-elected or put in the positions to do the work, to fight the corporate interests without the support of non-corporate grassroots support. So there is my legislative and my campaign, and I went way.
Okay, that was the state level. I think we have a county, potentially a county one. So I'm going to go back to, let's keep it to a minute.
Sure.
Okay, while Penny comes up. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie, our county commissioner, if you live by Beaumont in Royal Oak. So I just want to say real quick, and I'll give it to Penny. I'm sure you've all heard about all the ethics problems the county's been inundated with for several months. So if you want to talk more about it, if you feel open-minded enough to hear perhaps a fuller, more complete picture, I'd be more than happy to talk to you in the back one-on-one and hear what you think and tell you more.
So you have 3 commissioners in Royal Oak. I represent Royal Oak 11 mile from Campbell to Crooks, and Dave Woodward has the rest of the city. At the county, we remain busy. We still have our student debt relief, our medical program relief. Our Michigan Works program just started working with plumbers, apprenticeships that you can apply for. Our human trafficking board now has a local 248 line to report anything. We're working on placemaking. We are moving forward with the Pontiac development. You pick a subject, we're in there, we're moving forward, and we love to provide services for people. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to the city level. Who do we have today? And if we can keep it to a minute per.
Yes, I don't think that'll be a problem.
There's not a ton to update folks on. The only major thing that's happened since the last M Club meeting was an election. You're looking at your 2 newest city commissioners. Just want to say that this election was pretty straightforward in the sense that it was probably the shortest ballot that anyone's seen in a long time. But the election itself went off very smoothly. There was some comments made earlier about how difficult a clerk's job is, and I think we should all be thankful that for the efforts a lot of people in this room put towards making sure that election was safe and secure, and it went off without a hitch. And I think that's about all I have to update people on. I know you have a couple of comments.
Really quickly, first of all, thank you. We wouldn't be here without all of you, without everybody that donated, without everybody that voted, without everybody that gave time or resources. Thank you. We are going to do wonderful things as best as we can on your behalf. Second, 2026 is going to be a huge year as far as elections across the board. We're going to need your help. We're going to need your help. So if you haven't had the opportunity to be involved, get involved. And speaking of getting involved, the city commission, the appointments committee is going to be convening on the 12th to make appointments to city boards. This is an amazing opportunity for all of you or anyone that you know to show us your talents. You can go online, romi.gov, do a quick search, board vacancies. It will lead you right there. I can give you that link if you would like. We want people like all of you on city boards, but you have to apply, and you only have up until, let's say, midnight on the 11th to get your applications in. Yes.
We have an opening.
There are so many openings. And if you know, Woody and I both started on city boards, so we wouldn't be here if we had not served on city boards first. Second, a couple people from the community came to me. We would like to see more of your faces at city commission meetings and at planning commission meetings. One thing that I hate to do, but I have to give credit to our Republican friends, they show up and they speak at public comment and they are consistent in their message. We need that as well. And as I'm sure you know, you have the most effect on politics at the city level. All due respect to people at the state and county level, but local is where you can make your voice heard loudest, and we need you there. So please, if you haven't, start showing up. We're looking for you. We're looking for you at public comment. It would be nice to have our side of the story told from the public as well. Yes.
Is public comment at the end of the very long meeting or at the beginning?
No, thank you for asking. Public comment is very, very much towards the beginning of the meeting, and you get 3 minutes. One thing that they do really well, and I will give credit where credit is due, they have their speeches rehearsed. They keep it to 3 minutes, some of them, not all of them, some of them. But we need you there. We need your voice. We want you there because that's how you get heard. That's what I have today. So thank you. Thank you.
Do a real quick update I kind of forgot about. So we've had the privilege to attend one city commission meeting so far since the last Democrat meeting. There was a couple of things that happened at that meeting that I'm not sure everyone in this room was aware of. One, there was incredible, wonderful, heartfelt farewell messages to Charlene Douglas and Melanie Macy, the two retiring commissioners. We also in that meeting appointed a new mayor pro tem. So Commissioner Dr. Amanda Herzog is now your new mayor pro tem. That was probably the most significant action that occurred at that meeting. But I figured a lot of people in this room were actually at that meeting. A lot of you weren't. So just want to make sure that you all were aware of that. I think that's it.
Yeah, very good.
Yes, Tom.
I just wanted to follow up each comment on what the commissioner just said, but we had a years-long effort in Royal Oak, led and organized. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We've had a years-long effort in Royal Oak. It's been led and organized by Dave Woodward and Kyle DeBuck to make sure people vote from home. And one reason we keep crushing the MAGA wing in Royal Oak is because before election day even happens, all of our voters have already voted. So I just wanted to point that out. We owe a big debt for our continued victory of what they do with the time we've got to organize for over years. Thank you, Tom. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go on to now the school board. Do we have anybody?
We're just hiding over
Here you go, Michelle.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tim Ciechorski, president of the school board, with Michelle Cook, who is our treasurer. A couple things that we need to touch on. Next year, we're talking about elections. 2026, the school district is going to have a bond on the August ballot. Michelle and I can't tell you how we think you should vote. We can't tell you how to vote. We can't tell you what you should do in the ballot box. But I do think there's a lot of people in this room who will see what we're trying to do and they'll be very supportive of that work. We're probably going to have to call on you to help get your opinions, not ours, your opinions passed at the ballot box. And that's all I have. We're going to be 2 minutes. 30 seconds for me, a minute and a half for Michelle.
Yeah, we'll see if I can keep it to that. One thing that I wanted to follow up on about what Natalie Price was speaking about earlier is the money that she's talking about is the 31 AA money. And that money is for mental health supports and for security for schools. And so they are basically asking that we sign something to waive our rights in perpetuity for something that would be money for one time. There is a court case right now that is proceeding to hopefully rectify that. And so districts were given the option to apply for the money, but be able to rescind that if the court case doesn't, fall the way that we hope it will. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so if you hear that people districts are turning down that money,
that would be why they are turning down that money.
Clarify a little more. Let's say lawsuit that we, from all intents and purposes, looks to be something that has come from the tragedy in Oxford. What the state is asking us to do is give up any legal rights of the district if there's any kind of catastrophic, and they're not stating what that is, any catastrophic incident within our school district. And it's something that we can't really put our staff, our district, and our students in the way of.
Thanks for that clarification. In the theme of supporting students, especially with mental health and things of that nature, we have rolled out a partnership with Care Solace. And Care Solace is an organization that can help put families and students in touch with the resources that they need. So if we have students that, for instance, are battling depression or something like that, they can be put in touch with resources of, counselors, therapists, that sort of thing. Also, the Care Solace can help with food assistance, shelter support, and low fee or free health services. So this is a way for when we, see if our staff sees a student in need, they can be referred to this to help get them additional resources outside of our school district. Or our families and students can go directly to the Care Solace site and ask for help with these needs. Let's see. I also wanted to talk about just a follow-up with the Turning Point USA. Somebody in the audience had asked about that. And it's very important to us that our community feels supported. I know that this past week, there was a restorative practices session with our staff so that they could talk about their feelings surrounding, this club forming. I believe that we haven't picked a date yet. We have to get the qualified people in from Oakland schools. I believe that they're trying to get Jane Marks to come out to lead a session with our students as well. So it's something that we are actively, talking about and finding resources to support our students so that everybody feels welcome and safe in our schools. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is that the 100th anniversary of what is now ROMS, what was previously Don Darrow High School, and was even previous to that Royal Oak High School, is coming up. I actually just recently was I was getting my car serviced and was sitting in the lobby, and there was a gentleman there who is 90 years old who is from Dearborn, and he was talking about running track and being at a meet at Royal Oak High School. And I said, well, do you mean Don Darrow? And then I remembered, it was Royal Oak High School before it was Don Darrow, before it was the middle school. And so we are just in the beginnings phases of putting together committees to have basically a year-long worth of celebrations. And so definitely we'll want to reach out to the alumni community. So stay tuned. I will probably have more information about that next month as to how we can plug people into that celebration. And just kind of thinking about that 100th anniversary and kind of tying it to the bond, please remember that a lot of these schools were built during the Roaring 20s, right? And so they need a lot of maintenance and a lot of help to keep servicing our students the way and supporting them the way that they need to be. So, and that is all. That's probably a little bit more than a minute and a half, but I think I kept it pretty short.
1:45. Anybody have any questions? Andrew?
Is it possible for the school board to organize some funding for scholarships for students that are in need? I know this has nothing to do with maintenance of schools or anything, but students that need help to go on for education.
Yeah, Martha, unfortunately, the dollars that we bring into the school district can't be given out to individual students as a scholarship. But our counseling department and most administration have access to a lot of resources that those students could seek out and get the help that they might need for further education.
Thank you.
There are many, like the Royal Oak Schools Foundation does give out scholarship monies every year. And I'm part of that organization. So, donate to them, Royal Oak Schools Foundation.org online.
Yes.
And of course we have a golf outing every year that, builds it up. But there are other organizations too. And I don't know if the Royal Oak Civic Foundation can help in that regard as well. But anyways, there are other sources that do fund scholarships to kids to go to any school of choice. It can be OCC, it can be MSU, it can be UM, it can be anywhere. So Royal Oak Schools Foundation.org.
Commissioner Luebs?
Royal Oak Youth Assistance offers financial aid to our students.
Them too.
And families. So
yeah,
they might pay for soccer registration, soccer uniform, rent assistance, electricity, transportation. But it's called skill building. So the family would fill out a one-page skill building app and submit it to Royal Oak Youth Assistance. So there's help there.
I did have one. I just to wrap up, I did want to thank club members that attended our school board meeting last month and provided such thoughtful comments. We very much appreciated it. Our next school board meeting will be Thursday next week.
Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.
Thank you both. Okay, so the next portion is for candidate reports. Quick question, is Victoria King in the room? Yes. Why don't you come up first and then
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me in the back? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. My name is Victoria King, and I'm a practicing attorney. I have been a practicing attorney for over 15 years, and I have been a judicial staff attorney for 14 years and in private practice for 2. Most of my experience is in general, civil, business, criminal, family, and appellate law matters. If you need a recap, that means anything but probate. So that kind of gives you a lot of it. I'm running to be your next 6th Circuit Judicial Court Judge here in Oakland County. I live in Oakland County. I live in Troy. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm raising my 3 boys in Oakland County, 2 in college and 1 at middle school right now. I work in Oakland County. I work at the courthouse every day. My job is to advise 20 circuit court judges and 7 visiting judges. So that means I've got a lot of experience working closely with the judges. We need a judge who has experience in today's climate. We need a judge, and our county needs to elect a judge that does not need on-the-job training. I will be that judge who is ready to preside over matters on day 1. Immediately, I will be able to decide the issues before me by preparing, by listening, and by ruling with compassion, fairness, and integrity. And I think that's what we need, and everyone in this room would probably agree. That is important in this climate. I will not waver when I have to make the tough decisions. I know tough decisions have to be made every day. I do that every day with the judges I advise. We need a judge who is fair and knows the job. I'm asking for your support to be your next 6th Judicial Circuit Court Judge. Again, my name is Victoria King. My mom is here, and her friend Pat is here. We have lovely cards, and they tell you more about me, and there's even a website set up, which I'm really proud of because I worked hard on it. So I'm here if you have any questions, if you want to sign my petition, if you want to get to know me better, or if you just want to get to know my mom, because she's known me for a number of years. She may know a lot about me, so if you want to talk to her, feel free. And I think I kept it to a minute.
Thank you. Okay, the next candidate I'm going to call up is Anil. Is your first name correct?
Yes, sir.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, good morning, friends. I'm Dr. Anil Kumar, and I'm going to do like Natalie. So I am an elected member. I'm on the Board of Governors of Wayne State University for the last 7 years. And for those of you who do not realize, 1.2 million people voted for me in the statewide election, so I'm sure all of you have. So thank you for that. Now, what have we done at Wayne State University? Two things. One, Wayne State University is now on the top tier of urban research institutions in the country. And that's what we have achieved. Number two, what have we done for our urban school kids? What we have done is we have made education free, tuition free for those students whose families do not earn more than $80,000. So that's what we have achieved. And I can go on, but within the limit of the time, I will procrastinate that to another day. Now let me step here. I loved what Natalie did. So now I'm running for the position of the Congress. I'm running for Congress from the 11th district. Now, for those who do not know that, because the lines have changed, and therefore you may not realize, I have run for Congress from the 11th district when the 11th district was red. So I was the one that put my money, my treasures, my sweat, and my blood for making Democrats try to win that seat. Next, I assisted Haley Stevens to turn that district from red to blue. And now we have a blue district. And now I want to serve you because I am a physician, 30 years experience. And why I went into being in politics is for one simple reason, because you and me as patients have been fleeced by all elected officials, by all industry, taken our money and given us nearly nothing. I know where the problems are, and I know where the solutions are. And I want you to give me that opportunity to make the things right. For 30 years, we have heard, we will do this with healthcare, we will do this, but we don't have the money. I can tell you $4.3 trillion. I can get you $1.6 trillion to make it such that Medicare covers all, that all Medicare is for all. I will make sure that industry, insurance companies do not fleece us. I'll give you one example for those who are using Medicare. Medicare Advantage is given money, all the companies from Medicare, $80 billion. And what do? Advertise every year, tell you, we'll give you eye care, we'll give you dental care. If you go, and you can go to ChatGPT, if you go and calculate, if all the Medicare recipients were to get eye care, dental care, and hearing free, it would be less than $80 billion. How much does the industry make? $20 billion as profit. Why do we need that? I am the one to say, no, we don't need that. Now, why are the elected officials not being able to do that? Two reasons. One, they don't know the complication. They don't know the complexity of healthcare. Number two, just like Natalie said, they are vested in the industry themselves. So, Natalie, I'm one who will be first signing the petition. So, what is the greatest democracy? What is the greatest threat to democracy? Number one, Donald Trump. Number two, campaign finance. You look at it in any field, campaign finance is your threat. That's what Natalie was talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I am one who has never taken any corporate money. I am not one who's a career politician to want to get better. But what I do want to do is, as a physician, serve my patients in the right way. My next thing is education. Higher education, I have, by making higher education debt-free, by giving tax credits to people. So you take your loans, when you start working, it's tax credit, completely debt-free. In 5 years, the government will lose $150 billion. In 25 years, they'll make $8 trillion. Very possible, okay? So third thing is education. We need to have equity to our school system. I'm at the university, so we want to have minorities and other students get to be doctors, engineers, but they are not able to because they grew up in systems that did not train them. I want the equity to start from kindergarten. If kids don't have meals, they need meals. If they don't have after-class education, they need to get that. And the third thing is, being a business person, I want manufacturing come to our district. And you know in what form? Everybody went through COVID, right?
Yep.
We don't manufacture masks. We don't manufacture IV fluids. We don't manufacture any of the emergency equipment that we need for our health. That needs to come to each district. And that's what I'll fight for. I really thank you very much for paying attention to me. And just like Natalie said, please help us with the doors and the notes. And for all that are going to give $100 to Natalie, give me 10. Thank you so much.
Okay, are there any more candidates for office in the room who'd like a minute? Okay, we're on to the next part of the agenda. So it's calendar and new business. So the first one I'm going to present is new business. We had a proposal for a change of bylaws at the executive meeting this month. And so it will go out, the proposal, by email, and it'll be considered at the next meeting. And the proposal was from me. I submitted it to the secretary, actually. I have some copies. I have some copies of it. I'll pass it around. You'll see it by email also. Yeah, this is a 30-day notice of the vote. And so I'm passing out about 15 copies. You'll get it by email within a couple of days. And so we'll have about 30 days to consider it. There'll be a presentation at the next meeting. Fundamentally, we are saying if we pass this, we would basically say that if you're a candidate in office, you could not run as a chair, vice chair, treasurer, or secretary of this club. And the reasoning being is that we have different sets of interests. We are a grassroots organization, and if you're a candidate in office, you have a different set of interests than us. We're kind of the pain in the side for the candidates. We push them to be better, to consider things they wouldn't consider. And it's a little bit of a conflict of interest. And so we've long followed that as a practice. And so the proposal is to make it officially into the bylaws. There's additional thing in which if you are a paid staff member of an elected official, you can't be vice chair or chair. And the reason being, again, as a member of an elected official team, you have different interests than a grassroots organization. We need to be the ones who make it a little bit painful sometimes. And that's okay, that's our job. So that's the proposal. We'll have a discussion at the next meeting. If you like it, vote for it. And if you don't, vote against it. And you'll get the wording by email. So on to our calendar. Actually, one more thing. If you brought mittens today, it's over. Please drop them off at the table over there. Also, if you want to contribute to our Gleaners Food Bank fundraising drive, we have about $635 out of the $1,000 goal that was set. We've already contributed $135. If you can contribute today or tomorrow, tomorrow it'll close. But that's kind of the club goal of helping out the Gleaners Food Bank. Next thing I'm going to go on to calendar.
How do we contribute to that?
Oh, in your email for this meeting, there is a place you can contribute. It's a link. You just click on the link and you can select a menu option and make a contribution. They'll take anything from $2 to whatever you want to put in there. Thank you. Next thing, our December social night will take place Thursday, December 18th. It's a fun night. It's kind of like this meeting, except we just have a great time talking and chatting. So it's a lot more social than this meeting, but a lot of great decisions get made there too, just like here. So that's December 17th at 7 p.m.
18th a second ago.
Huh?
Is it 17th or 18th?
18th, sorry, December 18th at 7 p.m. It's that third, okay, at Pronto's, 608 South Washington, Royal Oak. Thank you. Next thing, club t-shirts are on sale now. They look great. Several of the members around here, you can see them. Eric has one on in the back. They're $25 to $30 depending on size. So that's the price. They're on sale back over there at our entrance table. We also ask club members attend city commission meetings so that our commissioners and mayor can receive support from friendly people in the crowd. Just attending or speaking when the time is right are both great. The next meeting will be this Monday, 12/8 at 7:30 at City Hall. They're generally every other Monday through the year. So the chance to speak is right at the beginning of the meeting, so you don't have to be there until 10, which is good. 2024 dues are only $20 donation per year per person. So we're encouraging you to do your dues this month, so you'll be eligible for elections in January. Please also consider donating to our ongoing scholarship fund for our youth outreach fund. The mittens, I already talked to you about the mittens. They're over there at the table. Thank you for contributing. Gleaners, thanks again for contributing. We're getting there on the goal for $1,000. And are there any other issues we need to address? Do we have a motion to close this meeting? Elaine?
I so move.
So moved. Do we have a second? Mary, and the third, and we are closed. Thank you so much for your time and your volunteerism.
Tom.
How you doing?
Yeah. I have lots of ideas. I'm gonna write something up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I keep doing well. Yes, tell him. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. That's been my day. It started a little late because
And that'll be.
Yes. On the list, I know it's on the list.
Yeah, and I usually do this now.
Right.
What I do.
Any support?
A lot of it. When's your next concert? We don't know.